thoughts on the game, and then we'll open up for questions.
Well, I thought we really did a nice job of, battling a lot of at bats and really got their pitch counts up and, put together some long at bats, a lot of full counts, a lot of foul balls. And we ended up walking, I think, 9 times, struck out 6, took advantage of a couple errors and got a few big hits. Obviously, we had the beginning where we scored 7 runs. Most of those were scored with 2 outs, and got a little lucky there. The ball Martin hit the bag, or the inning's over, and then Kerstad ends up driving in two more runs, and just some tough at bats. And then on the pitching side, I thought our pitchers did a good job. I think we walked 2 and struck out 12. I think we used 5 freshmen and a sophomore, so it gave us a chance to rest our arms for the weekend. We had a couple of the older guys down there just in case if we needed them, but fortunately we scored some runs and gave us an opportunity to relax a little bit and feel a little bit better about getting some of these young left-handers on the mound.
If you go back to Southern Cal, what can you say about this stretch that you've had with 2-out hitting? Because most of your runs have come with 2 outs in an inning.
Yeah, we did that out there. It seemed like maybe the first game we scored most of our runs, and the first weekend we scored a lot of runs with 2 outs, and it was a little frustrating in the first inning tonight. We didn't come through with the big hit. I think we had a run in with 1 out, and we ended up loading the bases, and we have an infield fly. And I don't remember how he did the 3rd out, but that with 1 out, runner on 3rd, you got to get a runner in, and that was really frustrating because I felt like we had their lefty on the ropes. He might not have made it out of that inning if we got a hit, and he broke that thing open. But we've done a pretty good job this year finding a way to make contact and drive in runs with 2 outs, and hopefully that'll continue.
Seems like Jack Kinley's been doing it a lot for you.
Yeah, he got 2 big hits on the West Coast, and then obviously another one tonight that with 2 outs, he got the base hit up the middle that gave us the lead, and then after that I think we hit another 5 or 6 guys, kept scoring runs, pretty much got the game in our where we felt like we were in control, and his was the big swing of the night.
Feel your speed really had an effect on the game as far as
Yeah, I think it bothered them. They were real concerned about us running, and they threw the lefties at us, so you're gambling a little bit every now and then with the balk type moves that are usually out there, and it's just harder to run on them. But we did a pretty good job of picking and choosing, and took advantage of some guys that weren't real quick to the plate, and kept getting runners in scoring position. And I think that the speed definitely bothered him, and probably led to an error or 2.
How do you think Trey Harris handled his first start today?
He had some really good at bats. He had 2 walks. I know he didn't get a hit. In his last at bat, his 5th at bat, he worked full count, and then he chased a changeup that was about ankle high, and tried to check his swing. He showed me some pretty good plate discipline, really, taking those walks, and he hadn't seen any live pitching. I mean, he's seen, I think he's had 2 or 3 live at bats in the indoor facility. I mean, that's his first time out here on a baseball field, since the Christmas break, and because of the 2 injuries. So, he's probably disappointed, but I saw some good things, and he just needs some time.
What did that little lefty do to keep y'all off balance in the 2nd through the 5th?
I don't know how many balls we hit off the end of the bat. I mean, you think about it, I would say 6 or 7 balls we hit off the end of the bat, and some of them we hit pretty good. But if we catch them down a little more in the sweet spot, they go into the gap or out of the park. And he kept running it away from us, and then he'd throw the change up, and he kept everything down, and he did a nice job. I don't know. Our guys felt like they were on him, and then they pulled off just a little bit.
Can you kind of highlight the young pitchers a little bit, how you thought they did?
Well, I thought Wicklander came out and gave us a couple 3 good innings, worked himself out of a jam, got 4 strikeouts. Monk comes in and strikes out the side after hitting the first batter. So that was good to see. And with Caden, it's not all about velocity. He's got tremendous movement on his fastball. It just cuts all over the place. It's hard to square it up, and they didn't. And then, Burton, who's gotten off to a little bit of a rough start, it was good to see him get through that inning. And then Evan Taylor, it seemed like he just kept going 3-2 on the hitters, but he ended up striking out the side as well. He's throwing the ball 92, 93 miles an hour on a 35-degree night. He's got a big arm, and sometimes it gets away from him a little bit, but he's got a really good breaking ball. And you saw when they were swinging out of it, when it was coming out of his hand, they didn't recognize it. But it was good to see him to be able to get a couple of strikeouts on 3-2 counts. And then Liam Henry, gets that first guy out on it. Actually hit the ball at the end of the bat. And then, they bring a freshman in his first college swing, he hits a home run. So something he'll never forget, and I'm sure Liam will never forget it. But he bounced back and got us a couple outs, and, it's good to see.
Dave, I don't think we're going to get you before Stony Brook. Could you talk about your pitching plans and what you know of them?
Yeah. Well, the pitching plans will be, it looks like Campbell will go game 1. I think we're going to go ahead and go with Scroggins game 2 on Friday. And probably go with Nolan. We'll go with Nolan on Saturday. Or if we play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, which we're trying to figure that out right now. So, which we'll be able to tell you more in the morning, but I just have a gut feeling that something like that could happen, but we don't know yet. But if we go regular, then it might be Nolan on game 2, and then Cody game 3. But if not, we want Nolan to throw on Saturday, just rest wise. So, and then as far as Stony Brook, this will be their 3rd weekend in a row to travel. We don't know a whole lot about them. We just know that, they play good baseball. And they went down to Florida opening weekend, and I think they beat Florida International twice. It's tough beating a team from, I think, the Miami area, who's had some really good recruiting classes the last couple of years. They beat them 2 out of 3 at their own place. So it'll be a big challenge for us.
That infielder who's an All-American.
Yeah.
Have you seen him play? Do you know much about him?
Just some video, Obviously, I haven't seen him in person, but everybody's got somebody, and usually more than we know about. There's always some guys that are a little better than maybe the scouting reports, or stuff's a little better on the mound, or they're a little better runners or defensively than we get, especially early in the year. But we'll be all over that. Continue that tonight and tomorrow as far as trying to figure out how to get them out. We wanted to get through Memphis, honestly. Sometimes the game after you come back from a trip like this can be a little bit, a little scary, and just glad we got through it.
So Scroggins would start one of the games?
He's going to start one of them depending on what's up with the weather. And, I guess right as of now, the situation is that, we're going to look at it in the morning. We're going to try to make a decision on if we feel like we have a chance to play Sunday, or if we have an opportunity to get 3 games in 2 days, and we'll figure out how we're going to do it.
How do you like Jacob out of the pen, kind of like what he did?
Which
Costi shot. Yeah.
We loved him. He threw great out of the pen, and that's one reason we've already talked to him about it, and he's good with it. And he came in with really good stuff and a great attitude. I mean, he looked like a guy that, wants the ball whenever it is, whether it's the 8th and the 9th, the 5th through the 9th, whatever it takes. And, he's going to be that guy this weekend.
With Scroggins, is the goal to get 3 out of him, or do you hope?
Now, we're trying to build him up. He was really good last weekend. I mean, really good. What did he go, 3 2/3 or somewhere in there? And, I felt like there were a couple of pitches that were borderline that would have got him out of it, that looked like they were strikes earlier, and then they weren't. They were knee high or below, and just really well located pitches. And he kind of hit the wall, it looked like to us after that. But, so really, to me, went almost 4 innings. And, we'd like to see him go 5, see if we can get 5 out of him. But just get us off to a good start at a minimum.
What kind of pitch count Campbell and Nolan on?
What were they on last week? 85. So it really just depends. It could be 90, 95. you know, what's the temperature? Are they easy 90 pitches or 85 or whatever? Are they always working out of trouble? You know, are they having those type of innings? And we'd probably get them out of there a little sooner.
Anybody else? Okay,
All right.